So this is a really good question because coral reefs just aren't really doing well, and there are things that we can do as individuals to help them. And one of those things is by simply just changing the type of sunscreen that you use. Let me explain. Sunscreen is great. It's definitely one of those things that you should consider wearing when you're out in the sun for extended periods of time. However, there are some chemicals in sunscreen that aren't exactly great for reefs, and one of those is called oxybenzone. Oxybenzone is toxic to corals in a myriad of ways. It's genotoxic, so it can induce DNA damage in coral cells. It can increase susceptibility of coral to bleaching, and it can even cause growth deformities or defects in coral as well. And while oxybenzone is certainly an important chemical that we should aim to avoid in our sunscreens, there are some other ones as well. So take a look at this real quick. As you can see from this chart here from the National Ocean Service, oxybenzone really isn't the only compound in sunscreen that can be damaging to coral reefs. Not only do these chemicals damage coral, but they can also damage these other organisms as well, many of which are very important to general reef health. So am I saying to never wear sunscreen again? Absolutely not. Sunscreen is very important for our health, especially where I live here in the summertime. However, when we do shop for sunscreen, we can be a bit more wise about it and look for these chemicals that I just showed you on the ingredients list. One thing that I will point out is that many sunscreens these days are labeled reef safe. And that's a good indicator that that sunscreen is heading in the right direction, but I would also recommend just looking over the ingredients and comparing it to that list I showed you to double check for sure. And there's a myriad of other things that you can do to conserve coral reefs as well. You can cut down on carbon emissions, you can try to use less plastic, and all of those are great, but this one just really stuck out to me because of how simple it is. Just next time you go to the store, try and buy some more reef-friendly sunscreen instead of, what may be the cheapest, for instance. Thank you so much for this question. I really do appreciate it, and on to the next.